Judge Lyman is working on a Saturday. We got an unsealing order. Let's get right into this. Okay. Louis J. Lyman, United States District Judge. Before the court are various requests for sealing and unsealing filed by both parties and non-parties regarding materials submitted in connection with 1. Plaintiff Blake Lively's motion for spoliation sanctions against Wayfair parties, see docket number 862. 2. Third-party defendant Jones Works, LLC, motion for spoliation sanctions against third-party plaintiff Jennifer Abel, see docket number 867. 3. Abel's motions for conditional summary judgment against Jones Works, see docket number 938. And 4. The Wayfair party's motion for summary judgment against Lively, see docket 952. Oral argument on the Wayfair party's motion for summary judgment and Lively's motion for spoliation sanctions is scheduled for next Thursday, January 22nd, 2026. The public has a right to attend that argument and to follow along based on the unredacted summary judgment and spoliation materials, that is, to the extent continued sealing of the materials cannot be justified. So just letting you guys know this, that he's confirming that the public has a right to attend this hearing, okay? Accordingly, the court provides the following bottom line conclusions on the motions for sealing and unsealing so that the parties have sufficient time to appropriately re-redact and refile the materials before oral argument. The parties who submitted the materials at issue shall refile them in accordance with this order by January 21st, 2026 at 1 p.m. The court will, in short order, provide a written opinion with its specific on the record findings explaining why continued sealing of certain materials is justified. So they need to refile the unsealed versions. This is the day before the hearing. At least it says by 1 p.m. because I would have guessed that Lively probably would have tried to file it at like 11:58, 11:59, but by 1 p.m., that's 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay. The motions of non-party Isabella Ferreira, Betty B. Holdings, LLC, Family Hive, LLC, Sony Pictures Entertainment, and William Morris Endeavor Entertainment, LLC, are denied except to the extent they seek sealing of personally identifying information, PII, and except to the extent that Sony seeks sealing of Exhibit 23, filed in support of defendant's motion for summary judgment. We're going to have to go back and see what that Exhibit 23 was. The motions of the Wallace non-party, Catherine Case, and Brianna Butler Coslow, the Wayfair parties, and Lively are denied in part and granted in part as detailed below. The parties are also directed to refile their respective memorandum of law and Rule 56.1 statements consistent with the rulings in this order. To the extent that the parties' memorandum of law and Rule 56.1 statements refer to portions of the documents below that the court now seals, those references should be redacted as well. To the extent that the court denies a request to seal material that is also referred to in the memorandum of law and the Rule 56.1 statements, that material should not be redacted. It says, these bottom line conclusions do not resolve requests for sealing regarding Abel's motion for summary judgment or Jonesworks' motion for spoliation sanctions, as those materials will not be addressed at oral argument and will accordingly be handled in a subsequent order. And then he just has a chart here where it says, what the exhibit number is and what the court's ruling is. So I'm just going to scroll through these. You can look through this yourself. There's a lot of pages of this. So we'll just scroll through. Here's where we get to Lively. It looks like a lot of this is unsealed, although he's granting some proposed redactions for some third-party interest and some financial interest, some more sealing, unsealed. Okay. And I'm going to have to come back around. I'm going to have to look into all of these and see what is what, because the big things that I want to see her deposition unsealed. I want to see that her texts with her so-called like famous friends, that those were unsealed. And I want to see that PGA letter that she had filed late requesting for it to be sealed, which I thought was so inappropriate. And eventually I would like to see, since Lyman is working on Saturday, can he please file something regarding the doxing, regarding the violation of the protective order? I would like to see sanctions against lively, but, you know, it's Lyman, so don't hold your breath. Anyways, leave your comments below. This is just to read what the order was. We have a lot to dig into that chart to see what exactly the details are of the sealing and unsealing, but there you go. Have a good weekend, everyone.